Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is Queen J Lotus King Sunkiss coming at y'all right quick, right fast, certainly, for some messages surrounding this hantavirus situation. Also, just hearing that, it made me recognize how that sounds like haunted. And I've been noticing a lot of like frequencies of haunt, HAUNT, that is going on lately. But we'll hold that thought as we get into the specificities of this read. So I'm gonna do this pretty quick, concise, and to the point because I can feel it, I can sense it amongst, I can already perceive it in the cards that have come out that this is some very distractive type of shit going on. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the specificities of these cards. So straight out the gate, I asked basically for some general information on this whole thing concerning the hantavirus and all of that. So we got sudden wealth and we have the false flame card in reverse. Both of these cards coming from the love and money oracle. So when we get into sudden wealth, false security lingers in material abundance, masking deeper voids. Constant craving for external validation dims the value of inner worth. So that points into the direction that this is, on one hand, this has to do with certain people booking Airbnbs, cruises, hotel rooms, bed and breakfasts, Ubers, planes. It's given like public transportation and or, if you will, public home areas type shit. Like I said, like Airbnbs, cruises, hotels, motels. Holiday Inn, we at the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. So that's something to be aware of as it concerns parties. Also, very large crowd gatherings. There's something going on here with people in general having bad hygiene. So this is something that you really don't have to worry about if you have a good sense of hygiene, let alone if you have a good schedule that allows you to have a proper sense of hygiene. If you have a schedule or a lifestyle that is hyper demanding, why did I just say it like that? Probably because it combined the word dynamic with the word demanding. So if you're in a relationship of any sort, you know, there may be romantic, you live with somebody, whether it's romantic or not, it could be a family, or you have co-workers or a boss or whatever, and that dynamic is demanding. This could be a thing because this is not just concerning physical hygiene, is also concerning spiritual hygiene, which is something that I kind of hypothesized before. So it's very interesting how it's coming out, like channeling through in this reading, because something was telling me that in general, because in general, through other readings and such that I've been doing, I've been getting this bird box type of channeling going on. And I could, amongst Sarah Bullock has been more prominent lately. And that has just stood out to me lately for like reasons that I couldn't put my finger on. But so yeah, interesting that that's come out here in the midst of this reading. But so yeah, it's giving like certain people being enamored by illusions of wealth. It looks good, it sounds good, quote unquote. This is what rich people do, da 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 da. And you're not realizing that the hygienic regimens are not up to par simply because shit is shiny. It's like all that glitters isn't gold, and or you see someone that has a very nice house, but you don't realize how much their bills are. So you don't realize how much they are living above their means. So they may have a really nice house that's beautiful and this and that, da da da, but you may be so blinded by how nice the house is and all of that that you overlook certain spider webs, certain things that are not hygienic, amongst the fact that their handlings and the way that they live their life is not hygienic in a multidimensional sense, because they have this big beautiful house that they can't afford when it comes to bills, upkeep, and you know, the multitude of things that go into it beyond just having a house. And so especially considering, and this was coming up, especially considering where the home is placed, like the environment and shit like that, like if it's by a body of water and all of that stuff, if they can't, yeah, it's coming up that like a lot of people don't understand that if they have a home that is surrounded by water, there is a specific type of upkeep that has to go into their home and that has to go into the land surrounding the home. Otherwise, a lot of illnesses, like viruses and shit like that, can be accumulated surrounding the home. So even if the people that live there build up a certain immunity to whatever is susceptible around the environment, people who come to visit can have a lower tolerance to the elements and cells and shit like that that's been accumulated in that environment because the upkeep is not going into it. So that's something that's like for a lot of people to consider. You go into someone's home and it looks big and beautiful, it looks like a mansion, the land is beautiful and this and that, but you don't realize that they're not investing in certain forms of upkeep that is specific to homes surrounded by aquatic life and aquatic manner, and therefore it makes people who are not regulated to or habitualized to that type of environment more susceptible to getting sick. Like people, this is an example that is given. It's like people who are not from the deep south, they're used to a certain habitat, and then they come to Mississippi or they go to Louisiana where the water is habitualized in the air in the form of humidity and all some more shit. And so essentially they're not used to living life on land breathing underwater. And so they're more susceptible to getting sick off of the environment just being what it is type shit. So if they don't have already a regimen that is conducive to the environment, or as a response to the environment in general, they can end up getting very sick. Another aspect of this is spiritual illness. This is bringing a spiritually transmitted disease, and amongst the 11 being on the sudden wealth card and it being the false flame card that comes out in reverse as it concerns the situation, is definitely, it's the same energy as the lover's card in reverse, which has more spiritual meanings than it does romantic, which means this hantavirus is more of a spiritually transmitted disease than anything. And it's giving that if the cat distribution system has been working in your favor, you're on a really good track as it concerns your spiritual health, spiritual wealth, well-being, and the path that you're on. All the while, it calls to have some like offerings for the cats that surround your area. Keep some good offerings for them. Do your research on things that are really good and really prosperous and things of that nature for cats. Amongst the fact that, if nothing else, invest in parasite cleanses for yourself as well as for the cats that surround your area. If you're feeding them, have something that you can put in their food that acts as a parasite cleanse or parasite for prevention or whatever, and that's also a form of spiritual offering as well to them amongst the good spirits that they are extensions of. So yeah, it's also coming up that there are cruise places, hotels, motels, holiday inns, and things of that nature. This is also bringing back some messages that came up in some other readings that I did, where they were talking about beauticians, estheticians, nail techs, and things of that nature that were all teamed up on some envious shit to like target specific people that they're envious of to sabotage their careers and their well-being and such. So like being purposefully unsanitary and or using products that they know are very triggering to allergies and things of that nature as a method of sabotaging enviously certain people and certain types of people that they want to go after. So that's bringing up that where it's like some lawsuits are bound to be won as a result of that type of thing going on. Also, there are some hotels, some cruise ships, some beauticians, estheticians, nail techs, and all of that have been being very purposefully unhygienic and or sabotaging to clients, all out of some envious misery loves company type shit. And so it's bringing about lawsuits. People are going to be filing lawsuits and have like very validated lawsuits coming about for people and companies that have been doing this type of thing. And it's basically kind of been God using the devil to bless their people. So it's like these companies, these people, these groups, they targeted certain people, or they were like, fuck it, y'all living high on the hog, I'm gonna poison y'all, da 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 da. But then, God allowed that to happen for certain people that are divinely designed and anointed and this and that to come into wealth, to come into sudden wealth based on people going out of their way to attack them for no good fucking reason. And for certain people who are demons, essentially, to finally get their karma. So it's like setups for come ups type shit going on with it as well. And when we get into the false flame card, even more so, the false flame distracted me from my true desires. I am ready to stop chasing illusions and focus on real growth. So again, it's bringing like, it's talking about some weird karmic shit going on. And this hantavirus thing is meant to basically separate the real from the fake, separate the clean from the dirty. And that's even in an energetic sense. Also, as it concerns, this is bringing up, I really hate this, but this is what it's bringing up. It's bringing up certain people who have been infecting people purposefully with diseases, and this is also in the form of STDs, but also there have been people that have been living like they're bulletproof, bang, 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 in general, and let alone accumulating certain illnesses, sicknesses, disease, colds, flu, pneumonia, and all of that shit, whatever, what have you, and they've been purposefully passing it along to other people on some misery loves company ass shit, and or on some feeling like, crisis bonding is a love language. So there's that has been coming into play, like it's given that a lot of this is coming into play for everybody to get very clear on who and what is for them and who and what is not, regardless of how attached you've gotten to them or not. It's just having to get very real about how people are committing to living their lives and coming to acceptance of the fact that certain people do think that crisis bonding is a love language, which means that they think misery loves company as shit is a love language. They may not mindfully intend to harm you, but they think to love and be family and be a couple and be community is to share everything, including their illnesses, their trauma, their ailments, their pain, their anger, all of this shit. And it's coming to for people to use their free will accordingly to decide if that's not how you want to live your life, then you have to cut off and X out and cleanse yourself of the people and things that are sickening. For these two cards, this is from the Sun and Moon Tarot. And here I asked, are we going into another pandemic, specifically off the backs of this Hunter virus thing? And we have the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Universe in reverse. And these are striking no's. This is not a sign of another pandemic coming up. According to the cards that have come out, we're not embarking on another pandemic. What is happening, though, is that certain people are going down. Certain people are going down, and this is happening in a spiritual illness type of way, where certain people's bad karma is them accumulating illnesses that can't logically be explained. There may be certain biological contributing factors that have explanations to it, but on the grand scheme of things, this is bringing about us being about to see and seeing, as we speak, certain people bringing about spiritual illnesses that manifest physically upon themselves, where a lot of us are being challenged to not save certain people from their bad karma out of operating from a place of pity, because you're not supposed to pity people. Pity is bad. Like, I don't get into a whole lot of like sin talk and all of that shit, but pity is an ultimate sin. Pitying people and seeking pity and dishing out pity to people is an ultimate, I'm hearing abomination, but it's a real big bad sin. It's bigger and badder than a lot of sins that a lot of people speak on, and certain sins, quote unquote, that people speak on are not even sins for real. But pity is a thing that a lot of people operate in, but yet don't recognize it as a sin, and it is. It's one of the worst sins, actually, because it facilitates justifying trauma responses, and justifying trauma responses fuel oppression. So go fishing, baby, as it concerns that, all the while being the fact that it's the Universe and the Queen of Cups in reverse specifically. This is having a lot to do with the emotional tie to intuition. Our emotions being tied to our sense. Whoa, right? Because that was a bit of a Freudian slip in combination with the channeling. Our emotional senses being tied to our intuition. So what I was trying to say is our emotional senses being tied to our intuition. But the message behind that Freudian slip is people beating the crap out of their own intuition for the sake of keeping the peace with people who are committed to not being peaceful, who are committed to chaos. So a lot of people are emotionally exhausted. This is coming about because a lot of people are bringing about illnesses that are a result of emotional exhaustion, that is a result from intuitive abuse. And this is from specifically people taking it onto themselves to abuse their own emotions and therefore abuse their own intuition in order to be peace for other people, and therefore making themselves sick because they're trying to be peace for people who are committed to chaos, therefore making themselves sick. And so there is not another pandemic among us as it concerns the cards and the messages that are coming through. All the while, certain people are going to end up isolating themselves for the sake of rehabilitating themselves, and other people will become isolated because they have made themselves sick, and so they're forced into a position to have to rehabilitate themselves accordingly. Certain other people, trigger warning and no tea, no shade, this is just how it's coming up, certain other people will be dying off because of the inevitability of when shit is evolving. If you do not evolve, you will become extinct. Now, here I ask, why is the hantavirus being so highlighted lately? Why is it being called to our attention in the way that it is being and or has been? So, in a nutshell, we have the Emperor in reverse, the Ace of Swords in reverse, and we have change right side up. And if you just take that in straight off real, it ties into basically the message that just came out concerning when evolution is afoot. If you do not evolve, you will become extinct. One of the only constant things about life is change. Therefore, if you do not evolve, you will become extinct. So, um, I'm not gonna lie, this is channeling some really governmental things in a universal sense, not just the USA, but like overall, where we have the Emperor in reverse, we have the Ace of Swords in reverse specifically. And this is giving that kingdoms, governments, and things of that nature feel extremely out of control. So this, like a lot of other things, it is coming up as a form of fear mongering in order to control the masses. The government feels out of control. The government feels very vulnerable and like they're at risk for going extinct because they refuse to change. And so they're doing a hell of a lot. They're grasping at straws. They're juggling this and that. Their world is turning upside down because they themselves, and this is what is coming up, they themselves have been doing witchcraft, castings, and this and that have been backfiring, that have not been working also, and they are desperate. It's a frequency of desperation, and they're doing their best to project that frequency of desperation and defeat onto the masses. It's misery loves company as energy, and they're trying to, like I said, they're trying to project that frequency of defeat onto the masses so that they can take everyone down with them, as opposed to having the masses take them down. It's a light and dark army. Which side you choose? I get it how I live it. I live it how I get it. Count the motherfucking digits. Pull up with a limit. Not to see in living. It's just your eyes get acidic. This ain't a scrimmage. Like yours, but you're rented. Okay. Bad bitches wanna be my bae. Hunt me down like the CIA. Want me to beat it like a TIKs. If it's heated, I'ma feed my face. Best believe it, it's gonna be outrageous. Niggas hit you with the Eli face. Bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing. And honestly, I'm gonna leave it at that because I already plan to do a reading on that song in particular, which is Lemon by Pharrell and Rihanna. But this just solidified it even more. Expect the next couple of readings or the next reading to be Lemon by Pharrell and Rihanna. Amongst, I got a reading coming for Rihanna specifically. So that's not a coincidence either. But it's giving, it's a light and dark army. Which side you choose? And I'm gonna leave it at that. And I believe it's about that time where I remind y'all, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Y'all go fishing, baby. And with all that being said, y'all, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow Joe right. And I am thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through this greenlit quarter spot the next time. And be sure to bless that comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you in always light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. If not now, then when? And if not me, then who? Don't drink the Kool-Aid, my friend. I tried to tell y'all about this dude, bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing, bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing, bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing, bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing.